Okay, I think we're good here. Welcome, everyone, to the Women of Soul Line Business Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Che, and I help women uncover their purpose, build and scale their businesses through bi weekly business masterminds and one on one mentorships, where we learn all the technology and the geeky stuff in my neurodivergent brain and really just start to be there to help support these incredible missions and visions of women. I'm here with Lois Castillo. She's a leading diversity, equity, inclusion executive, author of the book Unbreakable, A Change Maker's Guide. And that is providing CEOs, managers, and everyday professionals how to navigate the personal and professional challenges. Welcome, Lois.
Hi, thank you for having me, Joe.
Okay, we got the camera on here. Um, Amazing. So I'm excited. First of all, I'm excited to have you on because, first of all, we were talking before. I can already feel your passion and your why, which is really great. And I want to start with just like, why are you doing the work that you're doing? What is the reason? Why is this so important to you? Why does this feel aligned with you?
For me, it's really about I know my purpose. I've spent years really crafting what I'm supposed to do and the impact. So I ask myself this question all the time: what impact do I want to have? And my purpose is to create safe spaces so people can thrive, so that they can be their best self, so they can come to work or build an organization themselves or a business that is truly about them. I am one of those people. I love people. I love all people, even the ones that get on my nerves sometimes, because I think that humanity is such a beautiful thing that I feel honored to be able to walk the earth with everyone who's walking the earth at the same time as me.
Beautiful. And one thing I think is really awesome, it could be value to our listeners, is you're in the corporate world, you're navigating the corporate world, and you have successfully sort of transitioned from being in there to having your own business on the side. And you did that in a way that I think is interesting, where you didn't just quit your job, you sort of started doing things on the side, consulting on the side. And there's so many people out there, especially women, who maybe are in these corporations and they think they got to leave that safety completely to start something on their own that is more purposeful and really is going to fulfill them more. So I'd love to hear, Lois, a little bit about that journey and what advice you can give to someone that maybe is in the corporate world and maybe it's okay, but people are starting to come to them and for advice, and maybe they're afraid to charge for it. What would you tell them and advice you'd give them?
The first advice is just do it. I think we give away free advice all the time, and I started that way. People would call me because I was known a trusted advisor, and I realized that I had colleagues. I run budget. I was paying people for this advice, and I said, as my phone kept ringing, I was really intentional about. First of all, let me do research. I'm in the advertising industry, so I'm all about research and market research. And I said, how can I be live the purpose and have more impact beyond just the four walls that signs my check? I wanted to have be able to push the industry forward or business forward. So I started there. Had a very transparent conversation with my leadership, and me being a colleague of theirs, and I said, this is what I want to do. um, and they were supportive. So I think for women who want to, I think it's being, first of all, being transparent so you don't feel like you're sneaking and doing something. And then it's really mapping out what are you good at? Really being really aware of who you are and what you have to offer and what people go to you for. I always ask people, what is your North Star? What are you known for? And that is where you can start the consulting from. And it's through the relationships you've built in that environment. It doesn't have to be perfect. I started with a LLC in my name, and then I transitioned as it grew to Castle Bell, with clients that people I had worked with in the past, people through word of mouth. I'm do have a day job, so I'm respective of what my role is in my day job, but I separate them in how I engage with clients. I don't do with build with competing clients within the industry because I don't want that conflict of interest. So I think it's around really, I would tell anyone to first pause, really understand what you have to offer and what it could be. What is the service that you're giving? And then kind of do some research around what is the price? What are people paying for that service? Um, and if anyone, I always say, I can give you free advice the first time. I can give you added advice the second time. The third time, you're getting an invoice. So it's um, because I think we give advice or we consult, but we don't know. No one teaches us how to build. And I think when they think of entrepreneurship, we think it's such a big thing. You can start off really small with one client, or or one. I'm a coach, so one coaching, and then you bridge. I was not in a position to just walk away when I started this. And I like what I do. I like the people I work with. So I can have a little bit of both worlds. And I'm always planning for what's my next step. Like, what is the second chapter of my life?
So what I hear is if you're in a corporation, you have your day job, and you're noticing people are coming to you often, either outside of that, and you know, one question I have a framework that I playfully call the Icky Girl method, which is an upgraded version of the Icky Guy method.
Yeah.
And one of the questions, and it's got these 13 questions, and it will show you how to make money at your soul's purpose, right?
Yeah.
And one of those questions is, what do people consistently come to you for advice with? Because that can be a clue into what you're really good at and how people see you. So for you, maybe it's one thing, for someone else it's another, but I love that. So if you're in a corporation and you got a day job and you're thinking of transitioning through, what I hear is there's a couple steps. One, get really clear on what that offer is, how much people are charging for it, and maybe even coming into that confidence of, I can do this, I can charge for it. Two, be really clear with the people you're working with, the company you're working for, of what you're doing, make them feel safe, that it's not going to be a conflict of interest, and kind of like just make sure that there's going to be a blessing there so you don't feel like you're sneaking around and being weird about it. And three, just being really in integrity, that when you're at your day job, do your day job.
Yeah.
Don't be working on your things afterwards. So these are kind of some of is that kind of what I heard from that distilled?
You're exactly right. I think integrity, if you start your business with integrity, your day job can become your client.
Mhm.
Like I have so many friends, like they started in the consulting firm, and then as they grew, they because they value you, they trust the relationship you build, and you're honest. And no one wants to start a business or entrepreneurial behind closed doors.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I love this idea that, and I've seen this happen so many times, where your first client is your day job
Yeah.
and you walk away. If you create so much value in that company and they need you, that's a position where you can say, hey, listen, I want to be going off to myself. I'm happy to do this. And that's an easy way to get a really big raise. It also could be a little dangerous, right? You might be rolling the dice. So I think checking in, talking to see if that's a possibility. And I love this because as people are doing this process of uncovering their purpose and making money at it, I often see this fear of just safety,
Hmm.
right? If I leave my day job and go for the thing I truly love, what happens if it doesn't work, right? So what I'm hearing from you is there's some great ways to transition where it can feel a lot safer. You can go slower. You can work on the nights and the weekends, building all the back end components, the databases, the CMSs, whatever it is that you need to build, the AIs, etc. And then once you got it, you can start going off a little bit. And then as that gets more and more successful, you can kind of start shifting, which feels really exciting and a lot safer for some people.
Yeah, I think it's calculated risk. It's being able to try entrepreneurship and consulting in a tested environment. It gives you have that safety net. And for me, I think it's important that I do a lot of coaching and learning and development, so I get to sometimes utilize some of the things that are cooking in my head in my day job, um, to test it, to say, hey, does this work? Does this not work? Um, and I think we all need, like, safety is important to us. We all have bills, we all have families, like we need that. So I think it's, you don't have to sacrifice it all to become an entrepreneur or do your own thing. And I think that is something no one talks about.
Great quote. I hope they take that one and put that one out there. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. And Lois, what is a time in your kind of journey where you did have to take a big risk that maybe felt a little scary? I'd love to hear that because
Oh,
this is usually what's stopping people, is that fear.
yeah. I think I was at an organization for a very long time and I was very comfortable. And it was a very well known agency, had really worked up the ladder, had a really good relationship, but I realized I had reached my ceiling cap.
Mm.
Um, of where, because my boss wasn't gonna, like, the next step was my boss and she's a couple years older than me and she's not going, she was, that boss wasn't
Yeah,
going
she's not
anywhere.
going anywhere.
And I wanted to build something from scratch. I had always worked where I had assumed another role or someone had did it, and I went to a startup who we was like 26 people, and I built their HR practice. I had never done it. I'd worked in HR or in learning and development for the last 7 years of my career, and you know it was it was a pay, like, it wasn't like a lot of, like, I wasn't getting paid a lot of money, but it was a startup and I had never been in a startup, and that was a huge risk because it was a risk to our family because it was in like year 2 or 3. So you don't know if it's gonna be. But what I loved about that is it gave me the foundation to start my own thing. I learned how to build an organization with and a trusted with friends who had done it. I got to learn some of the headaches of running a business, and how, what is the, financial needs you need to do, what is the risk, how do you partner from legal. So that was a huge risk to go from such a secure job that I wasn't looking. I just had two amazing friends I loved who started an agency, and it was like, "Hey, come, we need you." And I was like, "Sure, I'll come and learn with you all." And that was one of the most career risk I've ever done. And it gave me the foundation and the confidence that I could do that. I could go and consult and build Castle Bell.
Mm. Beautiful, Lois, and I'm happy, and it worked out. It sounds
Yeah.
like
And that
so.
agency is
Congratulations.
yes, yes, it did. And that agency is thriving and is amazing and award winning, and it is still, and we're great friends to this day. But I'll always be grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say, "And I'd never go back."
No, no, no. No, I will never regret. I meant to say I'd never regret that leap of faith and that
Yeah,
risk.
it's a big one for anyone that's listening. That when you feel that call in your heart, when you feel that thing that you know that you're supposed to do, that is your purpose, that is that vision, it's just a reminder, take a brave step.
Yeah.
Really go out, be smart about it, don't be crazy about it, but like if you know it's for you, know it's going to work out, trust the universe, trust God in this, that it's going to bring you to the place that's really is where you're supposed to be. And Lois, I want to talk about your book,
Yeah.
Unbreakable. So, if there is one takeaway from this book and you could summarize it, what is something that you really hope or you believe someone will learn by reading this book?
I think the one thing I want anyone to read is that no is an acceptable answer. In the book, I talk about saying no with grace. I think as we, especially women, we don't say no. We think we have to say yes to everything. And I always say when we're saying yes to everyone else, we're saying no to ourselves. And I think that
Mm.
there's a way to say no with grace that we, and to understand when we have guilt around our nose, what is that guilt coming from? What is that triggering? So I want women and anyone who reads this book to understand no is an acceptable answer. It's a full sentence. It doesn't have to come with anything else. And it could be a no right now. I think there's a lot of folks who talk about a yes year. I say yes to everything. But at that time, sometimes if you're saying yes, you start to pour from an empty cup. You get depleted. That's when burnout and that. So I think it's really understanding what your purpose is and the impact you want to have, and being able to feel confident in your nose. So when you say yes, it's really intentional.
Yeah, this is so important. And, I do a lot of teaching on this, which is boundaries work and saying yes, saying no, and getting comfortable with your yes and no's and not making excuses, not try to pander, but just say, and it doesn't have to be a rejection. And I love this. I say this all the time. Saying no to someone else is saying yes to yourself, right? Really feeling into what do I want? What is really for me? And then when you're saying, and I had the saying, say it's life is only about hell yeses. If it's a hell yes, do it. If
Yeah.
it's not a hell yes, it's a no. So if you're like, yeah, I could do this job or I could have this client and I think it might, then it's not a hell yes.
Yeah.
Because every time we live out of our maybe sort of kind ofs, we're constantly in this compromise and we're never going to get to what is our hell yeses, what we actually really, really care about, right? So do you have any frameworks or ways to say no gracefully?
Yeah, I think the first is, first of all, who's asking you? My first thing is I always say, who's asking the question? Who's asking me to say a yes? Then I said, what's already, I take an evaluation of what's already on my plate. And is this aligned with my core values and the work that I want to do? And
Mm,
if one of those, if the person who's asking is not aligned with my core values, or the ask is not aligned, then it's a no. And
mm,
it's always, you know what, I really don't have the capacity right now. That's really not where I'm going. Sometimes, no, I'm just not going to be able to do it. If it's something that I'm interested in, but my plate is full, I will say, hey, I don't have it. I don't have it today or in this moment or this season, but let's connect later because that's an opportunity you may want down the line. So it's really evaluating what are the circumstances. Is it aligned with what I'm doing? I think sometimes we say yes to everything. So we're doing a little bit of everything and we're not
mm,
being intentional around our time. A firm no for me that I put boundaries on is that my children and their activities, they get one mother. You can get a new Lois at for a client or an employee. So my family, if it in fact like their birthdays, those things, sporting events, that's important to them. So for me, if it goes out of those boundaries, then I have to say no. There are many dinners with amazing clients or amazing people I want to go to, but my son has football every Monday. So if you can't catch me on Monday, you have to see me Tuesday. So it's really being clear on what the ask is. Does it align with the work that I'm doing? And do I have true capacity?
mhm. Yeah, because if you don't, you're actually not being able to show up fully for that person, that client, that whomever, and it's going to reflect poorly on you also, right?
Yeah.
So I love that is finding our nose, saying our nose, and I heard from you, who's asking, are they aligned with our core values? Do I have capacity? And if those are all aligned, then it's a hell yes, let's
Yeah.
go, you know. And I would also add to that, there's an intuition in taking clients, there's an intuition in things that we're doing in projects. If you feel, if you're feeling like, ooh, there's something that maybe feels a little off in there, or in like, and sometimes it can be a shiny object. Someone maybe has an amazing following or they're famous and they want to work with you, and you're like, oh, but I could put this on my roster. This company's got a really good, and then but there's something there you just like, I know this is going to be a freaking disaster, like,
Yes.
and yeah. And the thing is, every time you think that, every time I've ever thought that, being like, ooh, like there's like a twist inside of that intuition, and then I say yes because of the ego or the shiny object, it always ends up just draining me, and you end up got to get it separated or getting rid of them, or they're taking 80% of your freaking
Yeah.
time, and just like, they're messy, whatever it is. So it's just a reminder to also, I would like to add, to check that intuition, and
Yeah.
especially women in general have that. I wish I had as much as most of the women I know.
I tell everybody everything that glitter ain't gold.
Yeah.
There's bedazzled poop. Like it is like you can, all money ain't good money. So like you have to know, working with people. I like when you know the ick, like I think I tell people I don't need to sit at every table because some people are serving things I don't want to eat. They could be serving me poison. I don't eat sushi. Like there's thing like so being really intentional where you put your energy in and who you put it in because it can be a really shiny, like you said, object. But that ick, if we every time I don't listen to my intuition, I am mad at myself way
Mm.
longer than the experience I had with that person because I've
Yeah,
negotiated my values.
yeah, bent on them. So if anyone's listening, just like maybe take a second and feel into, is there any place that you're putting your energy right now? And inside of you, you know you really shouldn't be doing it. So maybe Lois and I can just give you a little nudge, little push, and say, drop it, let it go. As soon as you let go of that leaky energy or someone that's in my connection map, we call it black hole connections, where they just
Ooh.
suck in, the light can't get out of you, right? It's like there's so if you have any of those, it's just, a reminder to let it go. And when we let those go, those clients, those relationships, whatever it is, it just creates space for something you actually want, right? And that feels, and it's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it. If your space is filled up, you can't have what you really want. So sometimes we need to let go of those unserving things and then make room.
I love that. Beautifully.
Yeah. What else in Unbreakable, Lois? What do you want people to take away from that book? I love the first one about the nose.
I think the other thing is that you're not alone. You don't, we are
Mm,
not meant to navigate our careers, this world alone. We are tribal by nature. So that I wanted folks who do leadership work, who lead people teams, who are entrepreneurs to know that you have a community and I'm a part of your community
mm,
to support you. Like the work that you do is important, is impactful. The organization that you may be at may not have the same values as you, and that's okay. That has nothing, that's not a you problem, that's a them problem. And I think it's on us to navigate to find the place that values what you bring to the table. So that's what I want people to know is that it's okay
mm,
to walk away from organizations that no longer align with your values or your values have separated because they'll separate you from you when they cannot no longer pay you. So I think it's okay to start your own thing and you don't have to do it alone. There's a whole community that wants to support you. I believe the universe and God is rooting for you and is doing good work for you. So sometimes those doors that we think were closed were really a blessing in disguise because there's something bigger and better for you.
mm. I remember Einstein said the most important question you can ask yourself is this a kind universe or a hostile universe? And it goes back to what you're saying because when we look at everything through the lens that everything's trying to take or beat me up, it's a hostile universe, or we're looking at it as like the universe is conspiring
Yeah.
for my benefit. You
Yes.
know, I like to say the universe is my sugar daddy. You know, if we
Hey.
truly need it, it's there to support you. And I also hear from you that I love as a community builder for 30 years. I built communities all around the world,
Oh.
52 countries, 700 cities. So, and I know what it feels like to feel alone and to not
Mhm.
do it alone. And so the important thing to remember is you are not alone. And if you're feeling that way, it's really crucial to find that belonging in some place that feels good for you. And especially if you're a solopreneur, it's really important to be in a group of other solopreneurs or just something that makes sense. So, like, go out and find whether that's a group, an accountability partner where you can meet every week, every other week. I have one where we meet every 2 weeks and we just learn all of these new skills and new AI, how to automate things. And we just talk about our problems. Someone will come up and say, you know what's really struggling with this meta pixel thing? I don't even know how the hell to take out an ad. And we're like, okay, we're going to learn this together. I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to make a video or whatever it is. And, if you don't if have it, reach out to someone that already has that, get that accountability, get that group because it's so supportive and it's like your resource, our network is our biggest resource, right?
Yeah.
So if you're surrounded with people like you who are positive and are like have experience, and you can go to go to this group and say, I'm really struggling, I'm really feeling really depressed, or I don't know how to do this marketing, and I can't figure out how to do sales. Every time I get a call with someone, they never say anything. It's like there's someone out there that has the how for what you need to do. So you just need to find them, right? And
Yeah.
if you guys need help, if you're listening, need help with that, hit me up. I know a bunch of these. I have one. Other friends have them, and it's really useful to get into that accountability group and be surrounded with people. Do you have any groups in Chicago that are getting together, either online or in person, that are supporting each other?
Um, Chicago. So I do a lot in the industry. I'm an active member of the Ad Color community. I'm on the advisory board. We get together for conferences, but they have those networks. I was a member of Chief. I know those things. Ad colors are free, but the CAF. I think whatever industry, what I recommend, the industry that you're in,
Yeah.
joining their nonprofit in those advisory communities. Like if you're in HR, there's Disrupt HR. They do really innovative things. They have a lot of free activities where, like, I think finding the networking events that are local, those local communities here.
Mhm.
One of the things for us in tech that like Afrotech does, they have the big conference, but they do local meetups and matchups in Chicago, New York, Atlanta. They've gone to a couple islands. I think really looking for your networks, whatever the industry you're in, all of them have associations. Some have fees, but their meetups and their networking events are free. And how you can really find them, I tell a lot of younger talent or women who are in transition to start on LinkedIn. Like I will say this: if anybody, I'm the connector. If you go to my LinkedIn and you see somebody you want to talk to, I will connect you. If I've never talked to them before, I'll be like, hey, you said you'd be my friend. This person wants to talk to you. Go talk to them. Because I think we can't navigate this world alone. I don't, and you can't navigate entrepreneurship, solopreneurship, corporate spaces alone. You need someone pulled open the door for me. My job is to keep it kicked open for the next person wherever I'm doing this work.
I love that, Lois. It's really beautiful. And to summarize, find something in your industry, meetups, organizations, nonprofits, get in with them also. That's going to open a lot of doors for you. And I also want to add to that, which is if you can't find something that you need, build it yourself. It's
Yes.
more work, but it becomes truly yours, and you can gather the people, and people will find you,
Hmm.
because if you're looking for it, someone else is looking for it. If you're feeling lonely on this topic and you talk about it, start a group, start an online, whatever it is, just go out and just start gathering one person, and that's going to snowball very quickly. And a lot of beautiful things happen in community around that. I actually have a whole podcast called Community Building where we talk
Ooh,
about that if people are interested. But the idea is go out and find what you're looking for. If you can't find it, build it yourself, and people will find you. And that's how we serve each other.
yeah. I love that. Build it yourself.
I mean, sometimes it's more work, and if you can avoid it, it's better. But Lois, thank you so much for being on. We'll put in the show notes a link. And Unbreakable is on Amazon.
Yes, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. So, yeah.
Amazing. Lois, and we can find her on her website, Lois Castillo, LoisCastillo.com. You can find her on LinkedIn, and it sounds like just scroll through her LinkedIn and just ask for some connections. We got
Yeah,
we got
just ping
Lois.
me.
We got Lois on your team now.
Yes. My network's gonna be like, stop, but they know me. They know me. They knew who they get. I am a bully of a friend, and if you're my friend, you help people.
I love it. I'm also identify as a super connector. I literally I'm like, I need to create a whole group that's all it's doing is let people connect with each other. It's on my
Yeah,
list of things to do. So,
I love that.
Lois, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you everyone for listening. The Women of Soul Aligned Business Podcast. We got to see Lois in her power, making moves and shaking. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you for having me.